ComEd recognizes 47 new line workers today after completing its overhead apprenticeship program. The 2.5-year program takes entry-level students through 15 weeks of classes, a year of field work, followed by another 5 weeks of classes before graduation. Rockford is one of 3 regional training centers. The other 2 are in Chicago and Joliet, which all play a key role in helping more than 9 million people across northern Illinois. Mike Meathy with ComEd says he hopes these new grads see the value in working with ComEd.
I hope that they really enjoy and are passionate about the work that they're doing. When there's a power outage in someone's neighborhood and they may have been out for 2-3 days to whatever weather catastrophe we had, and when you actually are able to put that last fuse in and liven up their neighborhood, to see the faces and the joy of the neighbors coming out thanking you is very satisfying.